Good morning. Okay, so today we are going to take our owls from this stage into this stage. And we used to do it with black paint and brushes, and that was really hard for those 4-year-olds. So we have started using these thicker markers to get these lines. These are marker lines. So I'm going to go ahead and give you these markers. Now, we have found that Sharpie markers on the tempera paint really dry out very quickly and don't give you the best lines. So now I use Office Depot brand markers, which is a lot cheaper, but these guys pour ink out like crazy. So here's the deal. The ink may get on your table and it's really hard to get off. In fact, it just has to wear off over years. So I am going to give you some extra newspaper, and my suggestion is put a couple layers of newspaper underneath and it should be just fine. You know, the paint will soak up some and then the newspaper will soak up the rest and you should be just fine. But you don't want to bathe in this, you know. Don't draw mustaches on your face. It's going to be there for quite a while. You know what I'm saying? And I got you brand new ones too. So these are really going to pour out some good ink. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is take our marker and draw around the eyes where the yellow meets the white. We don't want to draw outside that space, we don't want to draw too fast, and we don't want to draw inside of it. So we're going to outline very slowly and carefully exactly where that yellow meets the white. Right around there, and then very slowly and carefully right around where the yellow meets the white. Look how slowly I'm going. And then when you're finished with those two eyes, put a little tiny dot in the center. Now he can see. Now the next thing we want to do is outline around his head. That first circle that we drew right there. But you can see that where this line is going to go, it's going to touch his beak. So we want to make sure to go under his beak. In this one, it wasn't an issue because the beak was above his chin. But oftentimes, the beak is in the way. So I really stress to kids to start on one side of the beak and then go all the way around, again, slowly and carefully, wherever that face meets the background. Don't forget his little ear feathers. And around and back to his chin, but stop. So don't draw on top of his beak. You're going to make it look like his chin goes under his beak, which of course it does. Next, we're going to outline his body, including his wings. So again, we're going to very slowly and carefully work where that white meets the background. Now when we come up here, I'm just going to draw straight up to his little armpit and then stop. Do the same thing on the other side. So I go down his wing, carefully and slowly looking where the edge meets the background, and then bring that line up to his little armpit. And then don't forget his belly. So we'll just do a little U right here along the edge where the white paint meets the background for his belly. So the next step are the feathers just on his belly. So we want them to look like this with feathers on his belly and his wings on either side. And what happens is we use a U shape, a nice U. That's so easy. But what happens often is kids make the U's way too small. And with this big, thick black marker, it ends up just being a big pile of black. So I like to really stress keeping those feathers large and simple. Like, just give him a nice big U, and we're going to do it in rows. So we're going to start with a row under his chin of big U's. Then we're going to do another row. across that of big U's. And then stop. Then we'll do another row under that. And we're going to keep on going, depending on how big your owl is. Sometimes you'll have more rows than your neighbor, and that's okay. But we do want to keep it big and simple. We don't want it just to turn into a big black mess, because remember, this is a snowy owl, and he's white. So down here, I'm just going to finish him up, keeping those feathers on his belly. All right, there he goes. And then finally, for the last step, we're going to give him 2 legs. Birds have just 2 legs, so I bring a line to the branch, line to the branch, and then I'm going to give him 3 toes on each leg to hold on to the branch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we can draw those in. And there you go. We have a great looking snowy owl. It was a 3-week process, but that's okay. Sometimes it's great to learn that things have to dry and take time and take steps. And that's all part of the process. So I think he's really good looking. And when he dries, he is ready to go home. Or decorate your classroom for open house.